Gentlemen, welcome back to GCTV. The idea, there are some shadows that are creeping over some of these fences here, and that may well play a role, I wonder, to these teams that are coming up at the second half of the stage. Have Prague Lions kissed away an opportunity to jump automatically in a GCL Super Cup semi-final? Not the ideal second round for Peter de Vos and for Thibaut Spitz. We'll show you those rounds in a few moments' time. But as it stands now, the Doha Falcons will be delighted to see those fences fall, knowing that with each penalty that falls for Peter de Vos and for Thibaut Spitz, it gives them a bigger cushion. It gives them more room to play with. Madrid Emotion thought it was going to be a second round double clear. It was not the case. And Falcons Wart United, 8 penalties for Marcus Eining. I'm afraid that also essentially brings to an end their hunt for a GCL Super Cup semi-final automatic appearance. As it stands, Madrid Emotion lead on the virtual rankings for GCL Round 2 in Rabat, but we'll get to that in a few moments' time. Let's start then with those rounds. The Prague Lions, Peter de Vos and Casual was the first rider to come out for the team powered by the Czech equestrian team. And Peter de Vos with a very late fault. It would have been very frustrating for the Belgian to see that fault go down, because here, 60-odd seconds into his round, looking very comfortable in those shadows that I mentioned a little bit earlier on. Now coming in towards the final few fences, de Vos still looking comfortable. Casual still just 9 years of age. But after what we've seen Peter de Vos do with Yarina, we know how good he is on these young horses. But the fence falls, that then takes them to 8. Thibaut Spitz and Impress K, another very, very exceptionally talented 9-year-old. But much the same. Clear up until this point. Gets over the Years of Culture fence, the Qatar-Morocco 2024 fence, makes it into that final line, and much like Peter de Vos, has a late fault going down. It takes the Prague Lions to 12. And the Doha Falcons, just by the way, we remind you, are on double clear. So, a score of double clear, they've essentially just been given 12 penalties as a cushion that they can play with, knowing that they will find themselves ahead of the Prague Lions then, who are the closest team to knock on the door for the Doha Falcons. So have we essentially seen that conversation come to an end? We know Doha still have to jump. Anything can still happen. But that is a really, really big moment from a championship top 4 perspective from Prague Lions. Madrid in motion. There's another conversation to be had. As it stands, they find themselves leading at the halfway point here of GCL Round 2. We'll try to get some reaction, by the way, from the Prague Lions. But this is what took place for Madrid in motion. Michael van der Vleuten jumping El Wiki in Round 1. Now making a horse change to Beauville. No surprises there. Beauville goes on to jump a fantastic clear. It sets the team up very nicely. In the round 1, it was Michael van der Vleuten that jumped the 4 and Eduardo Alvarez Aznar who jumped the clear. Now, unfortunately, they switched roles. It was Michael van der Vleuten who goes on to jump a clear for the team. And much like we saw for the Prague Lions, there was a late fault for Eduardo Alvarez Aznar on Rockefeller, now 19 years of age, I remind you, still jumping at this level and still doing superbly well over Qatar Morocco 2024, in and out of the shadow towards that final line. And if I'm not mistaken, in fact, that final fence going down for Madrid in motion, taking them to a total of 8 penalties. It gives them the provisional lead, but it will probably not be enough. Speaking of the Prague Lions, I believe Rosie Turner standing by alongside with Peter de Vos to get some reaction from those 2 rounds of himself and Thibaut Spitz. Let's hear from the Belgian.
Peter, what a tricky second round for you both. I can see the frustration.
Yeah, very disappointed. Can I go home?
Not yet, stay here.
No, of course, very disappointed. Yeah, we came, we tried everything we can, but at the end, yeah, it's a sport. We have to be clear when we weren't good enough today. At the end, it were very light faults, but the poles are on the ground, and that's unfortunately our sport, and it's very hard today, but it is what it is.
We spoke before the competition started, and you said when you saw everyone in the warm-up yesterday, you actually changed your plan and you brought Casual in for both rounds. Do you still think that was a good plan?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, yeah, she's really my best horse today, and with her, yeah, that was also the first round. She jumped really good. I'm also very happy with her in the second round. She really jumped everything she could. Was a very unlucky fence, I think. Maybe a bit my mistake. I wanted to protect a bit, maybe too much the oxer, and I should have let her jump it, and she wouldn't make the foal then maybe. But okay, maybe this, maybe that. At the end of the day, we had to jump it, and we made the foal. So yeah, we were not good enough, and at the end, I'm very happy with my horse because he jumped 2 unbelievable good rounds, and that's the positive thing of the day.
In terms of the top 4, you've opened it up for the Doha Falcons. They are going through into sort of in the next stage of this. Do you think you've done enough?
No, I don't think so. With 1 fault less, I think yes, could work. But 12 points, yeah, it's too much normally. They also have 2 very good riders, good horses, and I think it will be not good enough for us to stay in the top 4. But at the end, it's like with us, the rounds still have to be jumped, and a little fall is made very quickly. It's a very delicate course, so we see. Let's cross the fingers, and maybe the luck is on the last part of the day on our side. I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
A hard moment of realization for Peter de Vos. Thank you very much, Rosie Turner. We might well come back to you in a few moments' time just for some more reaction, but you can see the disappointment, you can see the frustration on the face of de Vos, who now knows that those 12 penalties, those 3 fences, in fact, that will then be a cushion for the Doha Falcons, who are to come later on. And again, if we look at their lineup, Willem Vermeer comes in, Julien Acatau comes in. With Blood Diamond, Dupont and IQ Van Steenje. It's a very good lineup for the Doha Falcons, and you would not imagine them to have 16 penalties to push Prague in front of them. So, as Peter de Vos points out, it may well be over. Before we go back to Rosie, let's quickly take a look at Falkenswaard United. A very uncharacteristic round from Marcus Eining and Coolio, the German veteran, coming out first for the team today. Edwina Tops-Alexander and Gilles Thomas jumping in round 1. Then a horse change for Gilles Thomas from Hermitage to Luna van der Dennenhof, and Marcus Eining on Coolio coming in for that second round. And again, Eining, faults aplenty, I'm afraid. 1-2 fences going down. It takes him to 8. And you could see the disappointment on his face coming out of the ring. You could see an immediate conversation with Mel, his groom, trying to dissect exactly how and where these penalties came around. But as Falkenswaard United have done in 2024, they continue to keep faith and trust in Gilles Thomas, and the youngster, who now, whilst not being in the under-25 category, is still the young man of the team. He goes on to jump superbly, get a clear, and with that, keep Falkenswaard United on 8 penalties. They are slower than Madrid Emotion and currently find themselves in second place on the provisional standings. But now we get ready for the second half of Global Champions League Round 2. And ladies and gentlemen, next into the ring come Sophie Hinners and Natalie Dean, the Kunstars powered by the Iron Dames, your newly crowned GCL champions of 2024. They will have their podium celebration and their trophy later tonight, but they are already champions. Nobody can catch the best team of the 2024 season. Let's go watch the Kunstars in their second round.
The season now comes back here in Rabat for the final. Sophie Hinners, she is a standout performer, not just inside the team, but also within the league. Sophie Hinners is 10 out of 17 rounds, is at 60% clear rounds average. With that, has the highest volume and one of the best percentages as well. And now comes back on Iron Dames Sinclair. Leading score after the first 7 teams is 8 penalties. And with this team now rid of any pressure about the championship, they can try and attempt to finish the season in style, maybe even in the same way they started the season, with that brilliant win out in Doha at the Longines Arena in Al Shaka. Through the shade and back into the sunshine, Sinclair and Hinners. And as you can see, it is a positive run. It's a good flow of Sophie Hinners with Sinclair. 2 reels in hand on Madrid Emotion. But after Cannes, Oh, there it goes, a rail. After come, still 6 teams to go. And a rail has fallen for CanStars, powered by Iron Dames, in a second one. And now they are level with Madrid and with Valkenswaard. A block out of the wall. And the rail of Qatar, Morocco. At fence 10 and at fence 11, all of a sudden, they are on 8, and they might even risk not making the podium. These CanStars, it's going to come down to time on who is going to lead after the round of Natalie Dean. She has to jump clear and get a time of 79 seconds. Just a little bit less even, 78. High 78s is what Natalie Dean will need. And there he drops his right front leg and takes a block out of the wall, with the risk that they might even drop off the podium, at least the stage podium.
Fences down. They now find themselves, the CanStars, on 8 penalties. And will we see them then fall away from a podium finish on the final stage? And Natalie Dean is currently in the ring. You want a GCTV live pass? Come join the action. There is a 50% discount we are running for the next 2 months to have you watch the playoffs and today's final this weekend here in Rabat, Morocco. Sign up and let's watch the rest of Rabat's action.